All right, start the music. Good afternoon. If this is Monday, this must be the Unapologetic Amateur Looking for Experts. This show is created by Ruby Williams Shivers and produced by Sheila Brown Bird with consultants Lula Salvador and Juanita McClure. Welcome. This is a day that is very important to us because so many things have happened over the weekend that have blown my mind and probably yours as well. But we are looking for experts to answer the questions that are on our hearts right now. And understand this is not the worst shape that we've been in. We've been through worse situations, and we come through. And we will come through this. It's just that right now we just sort of have to take a pause and sort of step back and look at what we have gone through and what we have done in the past to get through it. This is a time where I asked myself, we talked about Dr. Martin Luther King, and back in the day he talked about the beloved community. This is the beloved community that he talked about and that he wanted us to realize. And my question to myself, and maybe your question to yourself, is where do we go from here? Do we continue in the way that we've done in the past, or do we find another way to do what we have to do? So again, I'd like to start with Dr. Martin Luther King. And the question I asked myself is, what would Martin say? Well, this is one quote from Dr. Martin Luther King. And this is the one on the dark days ahead. What would Martin say? Well, he would say this: when our days become dreary with low hovering clouds of despair, let us remember that there is a creative force in this universe, a power that is able to make a way out of no way and transform dark yesterdays into bright tomorrows. Let us realize that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. Okay, this is Dr. King speaking. And when he says justice, I'm thinking about it's almost like it's just us. It's just us who are concerned about what's going to happen in the very near future. And today I have a guest that can really answer that question. Where will you go from here? And what is justice? What is justice for us? What is justice for all? Have a young man who has been in the struggle for a long time. And he's been in the struggle for a long time because he knows there's much work to be done. And he's doing that work. As a matter of fact, the last time that I spoke to him, he was commencing to do what he called the Martin Luther King March of Resistance. And over 308 organizations have responded to his call. And so I'm going to find out what happened in terms of that march. And also my question to him, as many other questions I have, is that is marching going to help us at this particular time? Should we be looking at something else? But again, this is something that my expert will help us to look at. So again, today my guest is Mr. Lawrence Ham. And Lawrence Ham is the chairman of the People's Organization for Progress, POP. And he is also an author. He is the author of this particular book, one of my favorite books from 2024. And the book is entitled Lawrence Ham, A Life in the Struggle with Annette Alston. Is my guest ready to come in? Is my brother ready to share his wisdom with us?
I'm here, brother. I'm here, brother
All
Terry.
right.
How you doing, man?
How you doing, brother? I tell you, man, it is so good to see you.
It's good to see you too, and also give my salutations and regards to Sister Ruby. I know she's having some challenges,
Yes, yes.
and I'm praying that everything will work out for the best with whatever those challenges are.
Yes, it will. And again, Lawrence, I don't know how many times you've been on this program, but every time you come, I'm glad to see you.
I'm glad to see you
Because every
too.
time you're here, it's right on time, brother. I mean, this could not be a better time, to have you on. And again, I want you to come on because this is your home. Your home away from home. I'm going to ask some questions. I'm going to get out your way, okay? But the first question that I have for you, the last time we spoke, there were over 308 organizations that have responded to your call for the Martin Luther King March on Resistance. So my first question is, how did that work out?
Brother Terry, it worked out fine.
Oh, my goodness.
POP has been having marches for Dr. King for 37 years.
Okay, okay.
We've been marching for Dr. King. This was the largest Dr. King march that POP has had in 37 years.
That's great.
Some people said 1,000. Even the Star Ledger had to admit over 500. But it was the biggest Dr. King march that we've ever had in 37 years. And the irony is, I'm speaking to you now, literally, when I get off the phone. Get off this Zoom with you at 5 o'clock.
Yes, yes.
I'll be on my way down to Bethany Baptist Church, where I'm meeting with the representatives of the 300 organizations that endorsed the march. We were having our planning meetings for the march every Monday at Bethany.
Okay.
And so tonight is the first meeting we've had since the march, which was on the 18th. Mm-hmm. And so tonight we're meeting to sum up the march and then to talk about next steps.
Okay.
Because the march wasn't one and done, We trying to build a movement.
Yes.
And the other thing is, historically from time to time, mm-hmm. POP reaches out to get co-sponsors and endorsers for activities that we have.
Yes, yes, sir.
And we reached out again this time. We have never had in the 43-year history of POP an event endorsed by 308 organizations.
I hear you.
This was also a new development, and I think it has a lot to do with these challenging times in which we live.
Well, I think that's an understatement. I want to ask you a question, then I want you to continue. But the question that I have,
ask me plenty of questions.
Brother, I got a lot of questions, and you have all the answers. But
no, I don't. But I'll try.
and as a matter of fact, in the studio last night, we had a group of brothers here. We're doing a program, and we were saying, okay, well, we're going to march and do this. And one brother says that no, marching is outdated, and that's a relic of the '60s. And my question to you. Is marching done? Should we find another strategy?
No, brother. As long as we're oppressed, mm-hmm. we will march and we will protest. But it's not the only thing that we're going to do.
Yeah, I think that's what
it's not the only thing we're going to do. Right, yeah. Look all around the world.
Yes, sir.
Where people are oppressed, they're marching.
Yes, they are.
Where people are oppressed, they're rallying.
Yes.
So marching, protests, demonstrations, picket lines, rallies,
yes.
Those types of things are permanent tools in our toolbox.
Okay,
it's never going to go away. Now, an individual might go away. Mm-hmm. An individual might say, well, I'm not marching anymore.
Yes.
That's their prerogative. That's their choice.
Of course it is.
I'm not going to wrestle with nobody to get them to be somewhere they don't want to be.
No, of course not.
All that's doing is going to cause me some problems, right?
That's right.
No. And I'm going to tell you, things are so difficult and the system is so bad.
Yes.
That I understand why people say they don't want to march. Some people say, I'm not marching no more.
Yeah, yeah. Of course,
Some
they
people say,
said that.
I'm
They
not
said that.
voting no more.
Yeah, yeah,
Some
yeah.
people say, I'm not going to any more meetings.
Yes, yes,
I'm
yes,
just going to do me.
yes.
I understand that. And I don't condemn people
Mm-hmm.
in their feelings,
Yes, yes.
in the way they feel. I'm not in their shoes,
Right.
you know. So if they've come to a point where they can't do anything anymore, then
Mm-hmm.
that is their prerogative, and I respect their prerogative.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to stop marching,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to stop urging other people to march. People that don't want to march, then don't march. But those who do want to march, let's go.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Right, right.
So I understand,
Mm-hmm.
and this is not new.
Yeah,
This
no,
is
it's
not
not. No, it's
new.
not. No, no.
People felt this way. Look, you and I think we in the same class, right?
Yeah,
I was
wait,
born in
yeah,
'53.
yeah. I
We
was born in
lived
50,
through.
1950.
I'm
I
all
got you a
right.
little
So
bit.
there it is. I'm 71 years old. I
Man,
literally lived through the civil rights movement,
me too.
lived
Me
through the
too.
Black Power
The
movement,
whole thing.
and I'm here to say as a witness, the majority of Black people were not involved.
No, they weren't. They were not.
Now,
They were not.
were there a lot of people involved?
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of people involved in the civil rights movement, and a lot of people involved in the voting rights, in the Black Power movement.
Yes, right. That's right.
But relative to the whole of the Black population,
Yes, yes.
they were an active minority.
That's right.
And
That's right.
at the ballot box,
Mm-hmm.
the people who wasn't necessarily involved in the movement
Mm-hmm.
would come out and vote.
Yes. Yes.
And we know even today,
Yeah.
only roughly half of the people who are registered vote. We're not even talking about eligible to vote.
You're right. You're absolutely
We're
right.
talking about registered voters. Only about half of them actually vote.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is not a new thing. People should not be disparaging
Mm-hmm. No.
about this. They should not be discouraged. Every great movement
Mm-hmm.
for change
Mm-hmm.
is spearheaded by a minority of active people.
Oh, no, no, no doubt about
And
it.
they organize a larger body of people
Yes, yes.
to support whatever it is they're trying to do or trying to accomplish. So, I'm not going to say
Mm-hmm.
that it doesn't sadden me
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
when I hear somebody say, no, I'm not marching no more. Yeah, it saddens me, but
Yeah.
it doesn't stop me.
But let me ask you a question. Now, again,
It don't stop
yeah,
me.
it's not going to stop us. But my question to you was: the youth represented in your march, in your most recent march? Were the youth?
There were young people there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there were.
Okay.
Could there have been more? Yes, there could. That's one of the things we probably going to talk about tonight at the meeting.
Yes, yes.
Number one on the agenda is, are we going to stay together and try to do something else? I had announced at the march, because we had discussed it prior to the march.
Of course.
I had announced that the march wasn't going to be the end,
Mm-hmm.
and that the next step is that we're talking about trying to have a people's convention
Okay, I like that.
around
I like
the
that.
time
Mm-hmm.
of the anniversary of Dr. King's assassination, which is April 4th,
Okay, all right.
the anniversary of his assassination. So we're talking about having some type of people's convention, political convention. We haven't worked out the details,
Okay, okay.
but there is a general idea
Mhm.
that we want to have a big coming together,
Yes, yes. Yes.
of folks in April
Mhm.
to put together an agenda
Okay.
for change. So that's like the next step. So tonight,
Mhm.
we're going to talk about the march that happened on the 18th.
Okay, all right.
We're going to talk about the strengths, the weaknesses.
Mhm.
Could we have had more young people there? Yes, we could have.
Of course. Okay.
And what do we need to do to get more young people?
Mhm.
And so on and so forth. But then after we finish summing that up,
Mhm. Mhm.
then we're going to talk about, well, what are we going to do next?
Mhm.
And we're probably going to talk about starting to work on this people's convention for April.
Now, again, we see a lot of things happening in Newark, and one of the terrible things was this whole fiasco with the deportation and getting one brother caught up in it who was a veteran. I mean,
Right.
I don't know if you have any contact with the mayor of Newark, but what is your feeling about that? This whole
Well,
deportation
I was at
situation.
the press conference that the
Okay.
mayor held.
All right.
Now, I wasn't one of the speakers at the press conference.
Okay.
It had been publicly announced
Yes. Yes.
that he was having a press conference at City Hall on this issue.
Yes.
This is an issue that I'm personally concerned about, and also the People's Organization for Progress is concerned about.
Okay.
So I went down to the press conference that the mayor held, and I heard the mayor and several other of the speakers, including Congresswoman MacGyver, I think Congressman Menendez, because Newark is all split up now. There was a time when the 10th Congressional District of New Jersey was the whole city of Newark and the whole city of Irvington.
Okay.
That was it.
I hear you. I hear what you're
That
saying.
was it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it has gradually expanded. So now most of Newark is in the 10th Congressional District, but part of Newark is in another congressional district that goes all the way into Hudson County.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So that congressman is Menendez, the son of the former United States senator, who
Yes.
I guess at some time in the future will be, I guess, going away, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He was convicted.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
But the two Congress people were there because the store where the ICE agents went and tried to arrest a bunch of people, including the brother you talking about that was a veteran.
Yes. Yes, sir.
That was actually in the congressional district of Menendez,
Oh, wow.
that part of Newark,
Okay.
down there in the East Ward of Newark, that goes all the way down, to the Port Newark, goes down there. So, and then the councilman from the East Ward of Newark, and so there were a bunch of people, and then there were a number of advocates, immigrants' rights advocates,
Oh, wow.
who spoke also. So I was there, and we're probably, since there were a number of immigrants' rights groups that were among the 308 endorsers,
Oh, wow. Okay.
they usually have some representatives at our meeting. So we're probably going to discuss this issue, of ICE. And I went down also to show solidarity with the mayor, because I thought he was taking the right position on this issue.
Yeah. And the thing is, but I'm not surprised on his position, because we're looking at Newark, we're looking at Chicago. They're having problems,
Right.
And it seems that it is the cities with Democratic mayors.
That's right.
And so I mean,
and black mayors.
Yeah.
And black mayors.
So can we say that's not by accident?
I don't think it's by accident at all. And they were back. I saw something online this morning that they were down there on Broad Street.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Yo, you did hear that?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the thing is, they're saying that now they can't really go into these places without a warrant. So I guess they're just sort of hovering around this situation, But
That's right. That's right. And I'm glad the mayor took that stand that, they shouldn't be, trying to arrest people without a warrant or going into places without a warrant and so on and so forth. So I went to show, I didn't just go out of curiosity.
No, of course.
I went to show solidarity with the mayor on this issue, and also solidarity with the immigrants' rights organizations and the undocumented.
Right.
Right. I am absolutely opposed to getting the United States military involved in this. They shouldn't be involved in this.
Not at all.
And I'm opposed to the splitting up of families. Do you know that there are still children that have not been recovered
don't tell
by
me
their families from the first Trump
I know
administration?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
It's a disgrace. It's an about, for all we know, those poor children could have been sold into the sex slave
Right,
trade.
the human trafficking is
There's
something that's
human
going on.
trafficking. That's right.
But let me
That's
ask you
right.
now. Not only is he doing all this other stuff, but now he's trying to rewrite the Constitution. That's scary.
Absolutely.
That's scary.
Brother, let me tell you
Please.
what I suspect.
Come on, please.
I suspect that Trump wants to die in office.
Oh,
He does not want to give up power.
Okay, I hear you.
He is going to try to find a way, as they say, by hook or crook, to stay in office.
One of his people is actually putting in a order to try to extend another term for Trump. You know?
Right.
So that's already in the works.
That's right. They want to amend the Constitution so that he could run for a third term. Which, the last time that happened, well, I think they put a bill in when Trump was in the other time, right? But the last big effort I remember about that was during Richard Nixon's second term, because Nixon was winning with such large majorities that they thought they could actually get the Constitution amended to let him remain in office for a third term. Yeah. And right after that effort started is when Watergate broke.
Oh, that's when
remember? That's when Water Tricky Dick got caught. And but these people are trying to set up a dictatorship.
Well, they are, and
that's what they're trying to set up, a dictatorship.
About it, that what Nixon was doing, Trump is trying to do, but my concern is that there's nobody to check him. We say in the community, I mean, who's going to check me, boo? So who's going to check Donald Trump at this point? Because he's trying to make sure everything is, because what he's doing, he's clearing the house so he can do what. I mean, it's really what we're looking at is really a criminal empire at work.
That's right, a criminal empire. You said it perfectly. Yeah, a kleptocracy, they call it. Ooh. A rule by criminals. That's crazy. And a cacistocracy, ruled by unqualified people. Cacistocracy. And an oligarchy, and plutocracy, ruled by the rich. So it's a very serious situation, but we can extricate ourselves out of this if, in fact, we vote simply in the numbers that we voted for in 20. Okay. Trump did not win by a landslide. He might have won by 2%, which was probably around a million or so votes. Yeah. But that was a fraction of the people who voted in 20 and didn't come out and vote in 24.
Yeah, because he keeps on saying that he had a mandate. He does not have a mandate. Not to do all
he
this
doesn't have a mandate. Now, he won the election. Yeah. He won the popular vote. He won the electoral college, but he doesn't have that kind of mandate. He only won by, he had 50-point-something%, and Kamala Harris had like 48.7%, something like that. So he only won by like 1.3, 1.7%. All those folks who, for whatever reason, became discouraged, I think a lot of people, man, I think personally, I believe that this internet, the social media is doing a lot of damage.
I believe so.
Because a lot of our people are falling prey to this right-wing propaganda. Yep. Sometimes they don't even know it's right-wing propaganda.
They don't.
Because they'll have a black person saying it.
Right.
And
the thing is that too many people get their news from social media, from TikTok.
That's right.
That's right. Most TikTok is like maybe 2 or 3 minutes. So how much could you get in that time? But the thing that I want to talk to you about, and I want you to help me with, every time I speak to you, brother, you have so much energy, you have so much joy. And now, my question, I know it's probably your diet, I know it's probably your exercise, but what gives you the joy and the energy you have to do this work? Because, brother, we're at a certain age where, if we just sat back, it would be okay because we're at retirement age,
That's right.
You were born in 53, I was born in 1950, so I should kick back and relax. But I have the nerve to do this show, and I have 2 other shows I'm doing, so I haven't stopped.
Right.
But what keeps you going, brother? Because every time I see you smiling, you're full of energy.
Yeah, well, like you said, I'm retired. I've been retired since April of 2020. Um, since then, I've become a grandfather twice.
Look at you.
That's right. My middle daughter has had her
Oh,
seconds
beautiful.
had two
Oh,
boys,
beautiful, beautiful.
one after the other. And one of the things I'm gonna tell the truth.
Please, please do.
One of the things that helps to keep me strong spiritually
Okay. Okay.
is that my children are doing well.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yes. Yes.
Now when I say, well, did they hit the lottery? No. Are they millionaires? No, no.
No, no, no,
But
no, no.
they're working. They have decent jobs. You know, my oldest daughter who just turned 50.
Ooh.
My oldest daughter is 50.
Yeah, yeah.
She just turned 50. She's been a nurse for over 25 years.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you.
My middle daughter, and she's a college graduate. My oldest daughter is a college graduate. My middle daughter is a college graduate and has a master's degree in journalism and has been a working journalist literally since the day after she graduated. She literally graduated from Rutgers.
Right?
The next day started working for NJ. At that time, I think it was NJP TV. It was still publicly owned.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
Now she works for New York One. But so she's worked, the last, oh my goodness, 20, yeah, just about the last 22 years.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, not 22.
Oh,
yeah.
Nia. Okay, yeah.
Nia. Yeah, something like 22 years in journalism. She's married.
Okay.
She had I don't think she could have found a better husband, to tell you the truth.
Oh, look, yeah.
As far as I can see,
No, but
I mean,
it sounds good. It sounds good. But let me ask you a question. Right. Biden, before he left the office, he pardoned a lot of people. And he pardoned Marcus Garvey. What does that mean in terms of just the fuller perspective? Is that important? Is that not important?
Yes, it is important.
Because as a matter of fact, it was brought up during Obama's tenure.
Yes.
They said you should consider pardoning Marcus Garvey for whatever reason he didn't even respond to that in a positive way. But now it's done.
Yes.
Marcus Garvey has gotten a pardon. But what does that mean, brother? What does that mean?
Well, first of all, it is important.
Okay.
And it is a victory, especially a victory for those brothers and sisters that have been working on this for more than a dozen years?
Yes.
Maybe longer than that.
I think longer than that.
Including his son.
Yeah, okay.
Has been involved in that project.
Yes.
And I tell you, I was surprised if someone had asked me in December, do you think Joe Biden is going to pardon Marcus Garvey? I probably said, nah, I don't think so. But see, you never know, right?
You never know. You never know.
Right. So he's been pardoned. Now I think the second part is that they're moving to have him totally exonerated.
Oh, okay.
There's a second part to this that they're working on.
I hear you.
But the pardon is significant. And one of the reasons is just the act of pardoning has caused people to want to know, well, who is Marcus Garvey?
Yes. Who is he?
Because a lot of people don't know who you and I know. Because we old Pan Africans.
we can't put that in that movement. But like you said, but it is important. Now, my next question to you, and this is, this is serious. Now we go. Okay, what happens to a lot of people? I mean, I consider myself Democrat. I vote Democrat.
Right.
But what has happening now is that people are getting to the point where, you know what, I'm through with the Republicans and I'm through with the Democrats. Now, the only alternative is a third party, but is that realistic? Should we even be thinking about that? Should we even move in that direction, brother?
Well, let me say this, that I can understand people's disillusionment
Yes.
with the two-party system.
Yes, sir. Yes,
You
sir.
ain't got to. You ain't got to convince me.
No.
You ain't got to say a
I
word.
know you know.
I
Yeah.
I know,
Yes, yes, yes.
and I'm going to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I ran. Most people don't know because, like you,
Mm-hmm.
for the last few years, I've been a Democrat. I ran for the U.S. Senate in the Democratic
Yes,
primary.
remember that. Yeah, yeah.
But in 1987,
Mm-hmm.
I ran as an independent for state assembly.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And I don't mean independent in the primary. I
Yeah.
ran in the general election against the Democrat and the Republican,
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Wow.
who were in it was the 28th district,
Yes, I hear you. Yeah.
28th legislative district. That was in 1987.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that time I was still uh, trying to push
Mm-hmm.
for third party politics.
Yes, yes.
Now, I didn't run affiliated with a party.
Okay.
I ran as an independent
Yes, yes.
against the Democrat and the Republican, but
Mm-hmm.
I was in part of a movement
Okay, okay.
because like I supported Jesse
Okay, I hear you.
in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
presidential election in 84
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and 88. Now he ran in the Democratic primaries,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
but there were people that were in the Rainbow Coalition that were trying to push Jesse in an independent direction.
Oh.
And we were hoping that he was going to take the Rainbow Coalition and form it into a third political party.
Wow. That's
But that
amazing.
didn't happen.
Yeah.
Now, since then, as I said, I didn't run for office again for many years, and then I ran for U.S. Senate in 20,
Mm-hmm.
and I ran for U.S. Senate in 24.
Yes, yes.
But I also should say that in 2016,
Mm-hmm.
I supported Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, we want to talk
Now,
about
Bernie
him.
Sanders is interesting,
Yes.
right?
Oh, yes, yes.
Because Bernie Sanders is one of two independent, I think the other one is the one from Maine,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
two independent U.S. senators in the United States Senate.
Okay.
There are 100 people
Mm-hmm,
in the U.S. Senate.
Yes, yes.
Bernie Sanders is one of the two U.S. senators
Mm-hmm,
from Vermont.
mm-hmm.
Bernie Sanders has a long history of politics in Vermont. He was mayor of Burlington at one time.
No doubt
Then he
about that.
eventually became U.S. senator.
Right.
And he's always run
Mm-hmm.
as an independent
Okay.
in the general election against the Democrat and the Republican.
Mm-hmm.
And he won.
he was very
ran
popular. He was very
statewide
popular. Yeah, yeah.
and won.
Yeah, yeah.
But when he ran for president, he didn't run as an independent.
Oh, okay. All right.
He ran in the Democratic primary.
Mm-hmm.
And as I look back on that experience,
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the right thing to do.
Okay.
Why do I think that was the right thing to do?
Yeah, please.
For him to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because if you go back, let's just say, take it all the way back to 1960.
Okay. All right. We'll do that.
And you look at every presidential election
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
since 1960.
Yes.
And in every presidential election, we've had third parties.
Yes. Yes.
Libertarian Party, Socialist Party,
Yeah. Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
None of those parties have gotten more than 2% of the total votes cast.
Okay. I hear you. I hear you.
In fact, in the last presidential election, all the independent
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
presidential candidates together
Mm-hmm.
did not get more than 2%
Oh, wow. Okay.
of the total votes cast.
Yeah.
Now, when Bernie Sanders ran
Mm-hmm.
in New Jersey, when he ran in 16,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
he got, I think, more than 15%
Okay. I hear you.
of the total votes cast.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when he ran again in 20,
Mm-hmm.
even after he dropped, remember, he conceded to Biden early. He didn't go to the convention. He
Right.
wound his
Yeah,
campaign up
Yeah. Remember.
like in May.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And even then, he still ended up getting just over 14% of the total votes cast.
Mm-hmm.
So if the object of running for election is to get as many votes as possible, then to me, just based on what I'm seeing in the electoral returns, you will get more votes running in a primary, in a Democratic primary, than you will as an independent. But let me add this rejoinder.
Yeah, please.
Number one, people have a democratic right to form third parties. I support the right of people to form third parties.
Okay.
People have a right to form third parties. People have a right to run as third party candidates. And people have a right to vote for third party candidates.
Right.
I support people's rights to do all of those things. However, because I support your right to do it, does not necessarily mean that I agree with that strategy.
Okay.
So I support people's right to run third-party candidates, but for right now, you know, if I'm trying to build a political base, you know, trying to build a political constituency, I want to get the most votes that I can get.
Okay.
And it seems that more people will vote in the primary, you know, for a primary candidate than they will for a third party candidate running in the general election.
Well, speaking in
this
terms,
is a discussion. This is a discussion that's not going to end.
Okay. Yeah.
Why is it not going to end? Because people, there are a lot of people who are thoroughly disgusted with the two-party system.
No doubt about it. No doubt
And
about it.
I understand.
Yeah, it's understandable. Yeah.
And and I recognize their right to be disgusted. You know, I ain't gonna try to change their mind.
You can't.
But but on the other hand, if there's an election and I'm faced with voting for a fascist Trump, you know, or a conservative Democrat, Biden, I'm going to vote for Biden, which is what I did. Now, in the primary this time around, in 24,
a little bit different.
I ran as one of the uncommitted. You remember there was an uncommitted movement? I ran in the Democratic primary, and I asked all the people who voted for me when it came to president to vote uncommitted.
Okay, I hear you.
To send Biden a message that we were opposed to his support of the genocidal war in Gaza.
That's right. I hear you. I hear you. But speaking
so,
of,
and what's interesting, and I'll let you come in after let me say this. What's interesting is that the number votes I got as a U.S. Senate candidate and the number of people that voted uncommitted were almost the same number.
Oh, okay. I hear you.
Well, almost the same number.
Well,
go ahead, brother.
We're speaking personalities. We spoke about Bernie Sanders. What about Hakeem Jeffries? Where you see him going? Is he?
Well, he is the
relevant?
leader right now. He is the Democratic leader in Congress. He is the leader of the Democratic minority in Congress. Okay. And had the Democrats got just a few more seats, he would be the Speaker of the House.
Yes.
But they didn't this time. So the congressional elections will be coming up in 2 years. The races will actually begin after November of this year.
Okay, I hear you.
The races for Congress in 26 will begin after November. And I think that we need to do. We have two. Among others, we have a number of upcoming elections.
Okay.
We have an election for governor this year in 25, and then we're going to have congressional elections in 26. And it's my feeling, this is how I'm speaking for me now.
No, okay, please. You have the floor.
Chitterelli is going to run for governor again. He was narrowly defeated by Murphy, the Democrat, in the last election.
Okay.
And he was narrowly defeated because black people came out in very high numbers and voted, and that pushed Murphy over the top.
Okay.
He was the first Democrat to win a second term as governor in 40 years.
Okay, I hear you. Yeah.
And so I think people need to vote in this upcoming gubernatorial election. There's going to be at least 5 Democratic candidates in the Democratic primary.
Right.
And one of them, including the mayor of Newark, Ross Baraka.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, he's also running. And so this gubernatorial election to me is very important because I don't want to see a Republican governor because that's just going to strengthen the hand of Trump.
Oh, no doubt about
You
it.
know,
No doubt about it. Yeah.
these people are on the same team. I don't care what they say when they, I'm not a MAGA, I'm not this, and then when they all get together, they all follow the line.
Yeah,
They all follow the line. The so-called moderate Republicans, they all get in line.
You said so-called, so-called moderate Republican. Yeah. But now, in terms of with the upcoming elections, should we start pushing for voter registration? Should we make a drive at this? Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay.
We should do voter registration all year round, every year until the presidential election in 28.
I hear you.
To get Trump out or to make sure that Vance is not elected. And we got to struggle with our people to register and to vote. Just like some people saying they don't want to they don't want to protest. They don't want to march.
Yeah. They.
And then they don't want to vote. You know, and then we get Trump.
Yeah.
We got to struggle. We got to struggle with people, patiently.
Yeah.
In a non-antagonistic way. Struggle with people, and get them to vote. I mean, we ain't not necessarily got to tell them who to vote for, but at least people should vote.
Yeah, because I don't see how anybody could just sit back. I mean, you see what's happening here and there and everywhere, and I mean, are you saying that's okay, or are you just saying it doesn't matter? Because I know with Trump, I mean, he's just starting with all of this.
Oh, brother!
all this mess he stirred up. This is the beginning of the beginning for him.
I just wish the Democrats would have the same amount of crazed energy when they take office, doing in terms of trying to do stuff to help their constituency. Trump is doing what his racist base wants him to do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's rolling back the entire civil rights apparatus.
Yes.
And in the entire civil rights infrastructure. I mean, because they want a white apartheid regime here in America.
Yes.
They want white minority rule.
Wow.
And if they got to have dictatorship to get it, then they'll take it.
Yeah. And the thing is that it's for him. He puts this out, and now they have lawyers lining up to deal with this constitutional situation. Now it's going to the courts, but my thing is, I mean, how effective is that going to be? Because if it goes to the Supreme Court, I think there's even a bigger problem. What do you think about that?
Yeah, this is the wages
scary,
of non-participation.
Yeah.
The wages of non-participation. So people didn't come out. It don't matter. Trump gets elected in 16. He ends up appointing more people to the Supreme Court in one term than any other president in history. He appointed 3 people. He appointed half of the ultra-conservative supermajority that's on the court.
That's right.
And what did they do? They turned around and make a court ruling not based on the Constitution to give him total immunity from prosecution while he's in office. So now he feel like a king. He could do anything he wants.
But the scary thing is you look at Sotomayor, you look at Thomas, you look at Alito. Now, they may decide to retire. And so who's going to replace them? Now, that's what I find scary. That really scares me.
Right.
So
I
that's
mean,
three
he don't
people.
really need any more, but he could end up appointing he could have the whole court in his pocket,
Oh man, that's scary.
before
Yeah,
it's over.
yeah, yeah.
That's why we have to register and we have to vote.
Yeah.
And we got to struggle with folks. A lot of folks, I think, sat it out,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then even more became discouraged because Kamala Harris didn't get elected.
That's right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Those that did vote
that
and
was a blow
did
for a
work
lot of
for her.
people. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes, but we got to pick ourselves up, brush ourselves off, put some water on our face, straighten our
Mm-hmm.
back, and go back to the job,
Yeah.
man.
But
You
one of the
know?
yeah. But one of the things that I know we need to know our history, and I
Yes,
can't stop talking
absolutely.
about this book. As a matter of fact, if I'm not wrong here, you have an upcoming book signing. It looks like February the 1st at the
This Saturday.
for your Source of Knowledge bookstore, and that's at
Yes,
865 Broad Street, Newark, New Jersey. And
yes.
my question to you, so I mean, it says here a book signing and a talk. So what are you going to be talking
Yes.
about?
Well, we this
Give
is
us
the
a
second
preview.
book sign. Right, right, right. This is the second book signing we had in Newark.
Okay.
So the first book signing we had, myself and the co-author Annette Alston were there. It was at the library,
Okay. Uh-huh.
and we had a very good turnout.
Mhm.
And but the person who was moderating wouldn't let the audience ask no questions,
What?
and people felt some kind of way. I mean, I talked and that talked,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
and the moderator talked,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then it was over,
Oh my
and
goodness.
people were like, we want to ask some questions. So now, since then,
Hmm.
we're having the second book signing, so we built into the program
Hmm.
a good period of time for questions and answers.
Hmm.
And we want the people who have already bought the book and read it
Yes, yeah.
to come
Hmm.
and bring whatever questions
Yeah,
they have.
yeah,
Because I know
yeah.
some people was reading some stuff in there. It's like, what is this? You know, why is he saying this?
Yeah.
So now you can come Saturday to
Hmm.
Source of Knowledge,
Hmm.
867 Broad Street in Newark,
Yeah.
12 noon to 3 o'clock.
Yes. Yeah.
And we'll be signing books, but we'll also have some talk from Annette and myself, and then plenty of time for questions and answers and discussion.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the table of contents here. Is from 1973 prologue anger all the way to 1990s and the 2000s. And so it's
Right.
very comprehensive in terms of if you want to know some of the highlights of the movement, it's all in this book. And the thing I love about it is the fact that you give us history, but you also give us a personal testimony. Because, brother, I tell you, I'm thinking about writing my book, but I've done so
All
much,
right.
but I've done so much dirt that I don't know if I feel comfortable. but you were very transparent in terms of what you had to say. Now, I remember back in the day when we were talking with you, and you sort of let the cat out of the bag in terms that you were writing a book, So I was able to get that.
Yes.
I was able to get that exclusive, And then,
Yes.
and
Yes.
so here it is. Now, my question to you is: I don't even know if you thought about it, but this looked like volume 1 to me. Volume 1. I mean, I think there's room
Absolutely.
for volume 2. Now,
Yeah. Volume two.
is it in the
Yes, there's
works?
gonna be a
Have you
volume
thought about
two.
that?
Yes, sir.
Well, give me a preview.
Well, well, I'll say this much
Please.
that I am definitely uh, decided to write another book.
Okay.
I haven't started that work yet,
Yes.
but there is going to be part 2,
Mm-hmm.
and it's probably going to deal with a lot of the stuff. See, one thing I learned about writing a book,
Uh-huh.
everything ain't in the book.
No. I know it's not. I know
Everything
it's
don't get it.
not.
No, everything don't get in. So
No.
there's a lot of stuff that didn't get in this book. So we'll make a second volume out of that one. So I would say probably I I might start working on it this year, maybe this summer. You know, I might start working on it with the objective to having it published. Let's see, this is 25. Having it published in maybe end of 26, beginning of 27.
Oh, that'd be
Because
nice.
that's the hard part. The hard part is not writing the book.
No.
The hard part is not writing. The hard part is all the editing that goes on.
Okay.
And the rewrites. Oh my God. You know, I spent more time in rewriting.
What?
And the rewriting is demanded by the publisher.
Yes.
You know, it's not just rewriting because I want to do this. You know,
Right.
you submit a manuscript to the publisher. The publisher has his people or her people to review it, to read it,
Okay.
and then make recommendations. And boy, I spent more time in the edits and the rewrites than I actually did in the original manuscript.
And that's something,
You know.
And I want to read, this is from the book here. This is the author's personal note. It says here, it's important to thank God for preserving our lives long enough to bring this book to completion. This autobiography, probably like so many others, is conceived from a single thought, an idea that flows from a seed of divine purpose. Larry and I owe that little mustard seed to Dr. Todd Stephen Burgess, who recognized the need and handed it to us with a sense of urgency. Todd is a biographer, author, academic, and most importantly, friend. His passion for documenting history, including even the history of characters in his beloved Marvel and DC comics, has proven to be contagious. And I'm glad we listened to him. Without his professional guidance, assistance, and collaboration, this book might not have happened. I tell you, I know that Dr. Todd Stephen Burgess would be very proud of you and this book.
Oh yeah, he played a major role in the editing of the book. He's a professor at Seton Hall University.
Okay.
And I've known him. I would say I've known Todd Burrows for 25, 35, maybe 40 years.
Wow. Okay.
I first met him when he had just graduated from Seton Hall, and he was working with Deborah Smith Gregory, who was the editor of the Afro-American newspaper, which used to be the major black newspaper in New Jersey. It's since gone out of business, but it published up into the Afro-American published up into, I would say, maybe around 2000. I think by 2000 it was over, but it had been in publishing for at least 60 years. I think the Afro-American newspaper was at least 60 years old at the time that it ceased publication. But he was a reporter for the Afro-American newspaper, and then he left there and got a job with the Star Ledger. And wrote for the Ledger for many years. And then he decided he was going back to school. And he went to the University of Maryland and got his doctoral degree, because he's Dr. Todd Stephen Burrows, and has since published himself, I think, 3 books. The last book he published was on the life of Mumia Abu-Jamal, probably the most famous incarcerated person in the United States of America. The most internationally known incarcerated person. So he just finished his book on, he didn't just finish his book on Mumia, was published earlier this year. But he had been working on that book for Mumia for several years. But he's a very good brother, good friend. And like Annette said, the book wouldn't have happened without his help, because Todd did his work voluntarily. He did all that work voluntarily. Normally, in a book situation, the author has to pay the publisher for an editor. So Todd saved us a lot of money.
He did. But again, like I said, I mean, I again, this is a wonderful book. I recommend that people read this, I recommend that they come out to the book signing on February the 1st from 12 to 3 at the Source of Knowledge bookstore, and that's 867 Broad Street, Newark, New Jersey. My brother, we have about 10 minutes, and I'm going to give you 5 minutes to just some parting words.
All right.
Send us out of here.
Yes. I also want to mention my daughter is working on a book.
Whoa. Okay.
My middle daughter, the one that's married. I don't know how she's doing it. She just had the baby in October.
What? Oh,
and she started working on her book in December.
Okay.
She's writing a book on Black Wall Street.
Oh man, wow. Yes.
Yeah, she's writing a book on Black Wall Street. It's based on a story that she did for the media franchise that she was working for 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay.
And so she, she went out there to Oklahoma, to Tulsa.
Wow, that's
and he interviewed people. So she's gonna be coming out with a book this year. Probably it'll probably be out by the fall.
Okay.
Probably be out by the fall.
We'll look for that.
But let me say this in closing, that Black History Month is coming up. I hope everybody will attend as many Black History Month programs as possible.
Yes.
I've been reading. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it's likely that this may be the first year where the federal government doesn't officially observe Black History Month.
Larry, come on.
And it's funny how we take all these things for granted, right?
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, disaster strikes like a thief in the night.
Oh man, yes.
And things that we took for granted all of a sudden are gone. So even if the federal government should decide not to observe Black History Month, that should make us have twice as many or 3 times as many Black History programs all around this state and metropolitan area.
Yes. And you said, February 1st, that's Saturday. So Saturday,
that's right.
From whatever, like I said, I'm going to up my game in terms of guests that I'm going to have on the program, my program. But Brother Lawrence Ham, you're a blessing, you're a treasure, and I tell you, man, I got to see you soon as I can give you a brother hug, because you deserve that.
Right.
And so those who are watching us, I just want you to know that this is a program that is brought to you by someone who is near and dear to me. There was a death in the family, so she's sort of dealing with that. But I also want to reach out to our villagers. Sheila Bird, she said, hello, family. Rashida Canty, she gives a fourth fist. Tasha Folk Wise, respectfully, if you don't vote, you shouldn't complain. They're right, you shouldn't. Juanita McClear, assalamu alaikum, listening. Tasha again says, nowadays I feel like we don't have to physically march. We can lead with our dollars. What are your thoughts? Oh, source of knowledge. I love the artwork. So this is Tasha Falk Wise, and I'm sure she'll be at the book signing. Again, for our villagers, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for giving us your time and attention. And look for very special things from this particular platform and from BKS1 Radio TV. We're going to be doing a lot of special programming. We want you to participate. We want you to enjoy what we have to offer you. Brother shook me when he said that we might not have Black History Month as we know it. That's scary. So again, I thank you for tuning in. Please, brother, take care. We'll see you soon.
Take care.
All right, brother. Take care.
Peace.
Peace. Yes.
Can't get it.